It's one thing to shell out the big bucks for, say, a purebred husky or Aussie terrier, but it's quite another to shell out the even bigger bucks for a pet that normal, non-rich people see about as often as they do tins of expensive caviar. For some of the very rich, pets can be the ultimate status symbol. After all, when you've had every high-end piece of furniture, high-tech piece of electronics, and high-priced vehicle you could ever want, what else is left? The answer, of course, is a rare and expensive breed of dog. Keep in mind that some of these breeds are rare for a reason. They may have genetic issues endemic to the breed, or require special care and feeding. But if you're loaded enough to afford one of these breeds, chances are you can just hire someone to take care of the details for you. Let's take a look at some of the pets you might be considering when only the finest will do. The most expensive dog breeds in the world. The newest breed of dog on this list, the Czechoslovakian Wolf Dog, Orville Jack, was engineered in its namesake country in 1955 in an attempt to cross the temperament, pack mentality, and trainability of the German Shepherd with the strength, build, and stamina of the Carpathian Wolf. Rather wolf-like in appearance, this breed has been used extensively for search and rescue operations, and also excel at tracking, herding, and agility competitions. While they are very active and courageous, they also tend to be very social, and at times shy. They tend not to bark much, expressing themselves to their owners mainly through body language, as well as grunts, growls, and whines. While very trainable, motivation must be kept high. They tire quickly of repetitive games, and due to their playful nature are easily distracted. They make great companions for hiking and outdoor activities, but then they'll also cost about as much as your average mountain bike. You can expect to pay about $1,500 for one. This northern Chinese breed is also known as the Songqi Xuan, translating to puffy lion dog, for obvious reasons. Originating in cold climates, the Chow Chow was bred primarily for working and pulling dog sleds, but today are found mostly in competitions and acting as faithful companions. Identifiable by their distinctive purplish-black tongues, Chow Chows are sturdily built with rounded heads and pointy ears. Their particularly fluffy fur around the neck area gives them the appearance of having something of a mane, and they can even be lion-colored with a cinnamon cream coat. They can also be reddish, bluish, or even black. They can be very protective and sometimes aggressive, so early socialization is a must. Some of the most expensive individual specimens ever sold have been of the Chow Chow breed, but for your standard run-of-the-mill specimen, you can expect to pay anywhere from $3,000 to $8,500. They may not look like much, but the Lowchen has a long and well-moneyed history. The name translates from German to little lion, and while this may not seem particularly accurate, lions after all are cats, it's easy to see why the breed's shaggy mane and flowing coat may have inspired its moniker way back in the 15th century when they first began to be kept. The breed is valued for its tiny size, hypoallergenic qualities, and friendly temperament, but this is true of a lot of breeds. The real draw here is its rarity. At one point in the early 1970s, the Lowchen was considered the rarest canine breed in the world, with only 65 registered examples existing. That's a shame, because they make excellent house pets, but only if you can afford a really expensive house to go with your really expensive dog. The breed has a long history of being prized by royalty and the wealthy, and can even be found in many paintings of the area, along with their aristocratic masters. Most registries list the Lowchen as a toy dog, but pricey things can come in small packages. In some locations, the breed can come with a price tag of up to $10,000. The Samoyed is quite a regal-looking breed, with its white, fluffy, double-layered coat. The breed originated in Russia, taking its name from the indigenous Samoyedic people of Siberia, and they've been used as herding and sledding dogs for centuries. Their longer, white outer coat, which sheds heavily once a year, shields the shorter inner coat from debris and cold. Samoyeds are generally athletic and competitive, but you wouldn't want to employ one as a guard dog. They're just too friendly for that. Since the Samoyed is what's known as a primitive breed, they can be more susceptible to a range of genetic disorders, including diabetes, retinal atrophy, which can eventually lead to blindness, and hip dysplasia. But this is also true of many less expensive purebreds. They're typically alert, agile, and love to play, especially with children. But due to their herding instincts, any kids that play with a Samoyed might find their canine friend trying with all its might to round them up into a tight group. If you have the means, they make excellent family companions, but you'll have to shell out anywhere between $8,000 and $10,000 for the privilege of owning one. The Tibetan Mastiff is a heck of a lot of dog, so look at it this way. They may be expensive, but at least you'll be getting your money's worth. Another primitive breed, the Mastiff can grow up to 3 feet tall and about 160 pounds, so it's a good thing that they generally avoid confrontation. They tend to instinctively mark their territory with scent in order to ward off potential intruders, but if an unknown party happens to cross the line, they can become pretty scary. Mastiffs generally sleep during the day and are more active at night, so they're often prized as nocturnal guard dogs. This of course means that if you have neighbors, leaving them outside at night isn't a very good idea. They will bark at just about anything that moves within their area. They can also be very stubborn, so this kind of behavior will take a while for you to break. Most Mastiff owners have their pets undergo obedience training for this very reason. But as a family pet, you could do a lot worse, unless you live in an apartment. Their enormous size and active nature will combine for a lot of sleepless nights. Some of these animals have been sold worldwide for absolutely astronomical prices, but in general, a standard example of the breed will only set you back about $7,000. Despite its name, the Pharaoh Hound is known to have originated in Malta roughly 5,000 years ago, and its genetic makeup has remained largely unchanged since that time. Also known as the Rabbit Hound, they make excellent hunting dogs. Their name is based on a legend that they are related to the Tessem breed, an ancient Egyptian hunting dog, and on the fact that the Pharaoh does bear somewhat of a resemblance to depictions of dogs found in ancient Egyptian tombs. A graceful, elegant breed, the Pharaoh has much in common appearance-wise with greyhounds, in that they are lean-muscled and tend to carry very little fat on their bodies. They're athletic, intelligent, and smart, with very short and fine coats, meaning they're not very well suited to extremely cold weather. But they are born hunters, and their intelligence makes them prime candidates for competitions. At play, you might catch them instinctively using their unusual hunting technique, jumping in the air, then landing squarely on all fours in an attempt to startle its prey. If you're in the market for one, you're either quite rich or a highly profitable professional rabbit hunter, if such a thing exists. Some bloodlines of the Pharaoh Hound can fetch price tags of up to $6,500. Much like the Samoyed, the Akita has a thick, fluffy double coat due to its origins on the cold mountainous regions of northern Japan. It's just typically quite a bit shorter, although a recessive gene can endow some specimens with longer, shaggier coats. There are Japanese and American variants of this breed, with the difference coming down mostly to the coloring. The Japanese version only comes in a very narrow color palette, while American Akitas can come in a variety of colors. The dog has a long and illustrious history in Japan, but the breed's history in America begins with Helen Keller, who was gifted 2 of them by the Emperor of Japan in 1938. The breed's tight, knuckled, cat-like feet and thick coats are reflective of their adaptations for cold weather areas. And those feet aren't the only thing they have in common with our feline friends. Some decidedly cat-like behaviors have been observed in the breed, such as cleaning its face after eating and grooming its mate. The Akita isn't a very good choice for a first-time dog owner. Without proper training, they can become dominant and even aggressive. But if you're a confident handler, and if you have the dough, you can acquire one for the reasonable price of around $4,500. Rottweil is a town in southern Germany, which may answer a question a number of you have had for some time. The Rottweiler breed has also been known as Rottweiler Metzgerhund, literally Rottweil's butcher dog, due to their traditional use herding livestock and pulling meat carts to market in centuries past. Rottweilers are extremely powerful and very intelligent, and because of these qualities they are often feared. But aggressive behavior must generally be trained into the dog, as they naturally have a friendly and hardworking temperament. Of course, this doesn't apply to animals they are attempting to herd. Rottweilers make good use of their intimidating nature in being efficient and precise herding dogs. The breed make excellent service animals due to their loyal nature, and they're also a relatively disease-free breed. Just don't let the bad rap given to them by movies and TV turn you off. Rottweilers make excellent companions and are gentle and careful around children, but you may find your friends being a bit wary. For certain bloodlines, you'll pay up to $4,000 for one, but perhaps more than any breed on this list, they're worth every penny. One of very few African breeds available to buy in North America, the Azu Walk also bears a superficial resemblance to the Greyhound. It's thin, muscular, and has a quite distinctly cat-like way of moving. And if you own one, you'd better have a lot of energy. The Azu Walk is a very lively breed, and failure to provide them with enough exercise can make for an unhappy dog, and therefore an unhappy owner. They're known to heal very quickly, and unlike many larger dog breeds, instances of hip dysplasia are relatively rare. Although not innately aggressive, they are very protective and form deep bonds with their owners. They have a very strong guarding instinct and can be suspicious of people they don't know. So as with many breeds of this temperament, obedience training is always a good idea. As long as you don't live in a chilly climate, Azu Walks are not fond of rain or cold. They can make an ideal family companion, provided you have $3,500 lying around. Here's one very unique breed, the Peruvian Inca Orchid, also known as the Peruvian hairless dog, for obvious reasons. Totally hairless with an elephant gray skin color, the Orchid was bred in Peru even before the rise of the Inca culture. Orchids have a friendly temperament, but can be suspicious of strangers, and they're also known to typically be extra protective of women and children. They tend to be lively and alert, and despite being hairless, they don't mind the cold that much. They'll even generally allow you to bundle them up to go outside to play. They even enjoy the company of other dogs and playing games with humans, but make sure to get creative. Orchids are very intelligent and easily get bored with repetitive games. They can function just as well as a unique conversation piece as a trusted family pet, but an expensive one, as a prime specimen can go for upwards of $3,000. Known as the Royal Dog of Egypt, the Saluki is a deep-chested, long-legged breed which hunts its prey by sight and does it well. In ancient times, they were used to take down foxes, jackals, and other mid-sized quarry, and once they lock on, they won't stop. They're nearly as fast as greyhounds, perhaps even faster over longer distances. Given their long history as expert hunters, Salukis are not a breed that you would want to let run wild off the leash, because they will do just that, run wild, and good luck catching them. They do mellow out as they get older, however, and adult Salukis can even adjust quite nicely to apartment life, despite the fact that they are common in the Middle East, even as nuisance street dogs. Purebred Salukis are highly sought after in the Western world, and can fetch up to $2,500 for a healthy specimen. With its distinctive jowly appearance, the English Bulldog has been caricatured as a representation of the stuffy British upper class for centuries. Their squat, compact, muscular build makes them very sturdy, just don't expect them to be quick. They tend to sort of waddle around, and also to drool, snore, and wheeze quite heavily. While this certainly gives them a lot of personality, they may not be every dog owner's cup of tea, so to speak. In contrast to their appearance, English Bulldogs are widely known for their sweet, affectionate temperament and ease in getting along with children. They're a low-impact, low-endurance breed and don't require much exercise. Most of them will probably do fine without a yard, and apartment living is no problem. They like their climate not too hot and not too cold, so if you live in a temperate area, have limited amounts of space, and don't mind their quirks, they can make ideal companions. Of course, they also set you back $2,500 on the low end, up to $9,000. So you may want to spend some time with one to make sure this British breed is the one for you.